I'm a 16-year-old Fortnite nerd with years of experience improving at Fortnite myself and helping others improve too. And today, I've gathered every piece of advice given across the thousands of videos on improving at Fortnite, and I've combined them into one video. There is a lot of information in this video, so having a notepad or something might be helpful. To start, we need to go over the 3 groundwork foundations: mechs, aim, and game sense. These 3 are the structure of your game and need to be mastered if you want to go pro. When focusing on mechanics, you want to spend 90% of your time in a practice map by yourself. I recommend Raider 464's mechanics map V5. If you're a beginner when it comes to mechanics, I'll quickly go over where you should start. If not, feel free to skip to the next timestamp. When first starting off trying to improve your mechanics, you want to build strong muscle memory, and to do this, you should do edit courses over and over until you're going through them without making a single mistake. Doing this sets you up nicely to go into the next step of improving mechanics. Going into the advanced section of mechanics, this is where you probably feel a bit stuck. Don't worry though, I was like that as well. To get unstuck, pause. We want to do these 3 drills every day: piece control tunnels, 0.5 free builds, and 1.5 free builds. Piece control tunnels are quite straightforward. Just make sure when you're doing them, take your time and focus on efficiency instead of going fast. And also, make sure you're doing good peek and resetting after taking a shot to avoid counter damage. 0.5 free builds is probably one you've heard of before, but probably isn't one you do. Go into the Raider 464 map and go to the free build section and turn the speed down to 0.5 or whatever the lowest is in your map. Use this to practice good crosshair placement and practice more advanced retakes you see pros do. And for the 1.5 free build, literally just put the speed to 1.5 or the max on your map. And just try free build as fast as humanly possible. Don't worry about messing up, just keep free building, and eventually when you go back to normal speed, you'll realize how slow the game actually is. This genuinely is the reason my mechs are so fast. Don't worry, the aim section will be very short, but not because I'm giving hardly any information. It's because getting good aim is actually quite simple, but not easy. To get good aim, just do Kovac, and if you don't have Kovacs, then use some aim drills in the Raiders map. Your main focus should be on tracking and flicking, as these 2 are most common for you to use in Fortnite. But doing a couple of extra of the other drills definitely won't hurt and will help build good mouse control. The problem I had with aim was it's just so boring to train. So to prevent me just getting bored and doing something else, I put a YouTube video on in the background, and with everyone's attention span being so low these days, this will probably help you too. Improving game sense is mainly just a mix of doing some scrims and watching pro players. If you don't know how to scrim, I'll quickly go over it. To join a scrim, you need to find the right Discord server for your region. I'm EU, so I'll do Noble scrims. I'll also leave in the description a website where you can find your server. And then after you found it, you need to verify your account, and this usually involves a bot DMing you. And then once that is done, it's pretty straightforward. But I'll also leave in the description a full video on how to do scrims. Now we have the foundations laid out, we need to go more in depth. Without these next 5 essentials, your chances of going pro are pretty much 0%. Consistency. This is probably pretty obvious for most of you, and you have probably heard it a million times, but I'm not talking about just hopping on every day and practicing every day. I'm talking about the little things that you need to stay consistent at that make a huge difference. Like, when was the last time you noted down why you died in a tournament or a ranked game? Probably never. These little things will set you apart from the hundreds of thousands or even millions doing the exact same thing, and only 0.1% of those people will actually end up going pro. Time efficiency. Unless you're extremely unemployed, you probably have a limited amount of time to play a day, and making sure you don't waste this time is very important. Sometimes when your mates ask you to hop on and play some other game, you're gonna have to say no and use that time to practice and improve. A lot of players waste hours playing without the focus of training to drain as much improvement out of the time they get as they can. You can't do that. You need to have a set routine that will help you increase the efficiency of your practice and maximize your improvement. I have a full video on this routine, which I'll put in the top right of the screen right now, but as this is the guide, here is one now. I want you to start off with aim and do it for at least 20 minutes, then move on to mechanics, mainly piece control drills, and do it for another 20 minutes. Next, for the rest of the day, you need to do scrims or ranked games until you have to get off. Adaptation is one that most players don't care about and is typically seen as something only the top pros should need to do. But if you really want to go pro, you need to do it too. But what do I mean by adaptation? Really, it's simple. Just look at the meta for each new season or update and change a tiny bit about what you do in game to utilize the new update. Trust me, most people won't do this and it will give you a huge advantage in competitive. The main thing I want to go over for mentality is having a growth mindset. Instead of getting frustrated when you mess up, a good mentality helps you view mistakes as learning opportunities. Instead of crying about doing bad in a tournament, ask yourself what went wrong. Also, having a strong level of confidence in your ability is helpful. If you don't believe in your ability to hit shots or make smart plays, you'll hesitate, and hesitation usually will lead to a mistake. So being confident is very important, but don't be a cocky little twat. Focus on solos. In solos, every decision you make impacts the outcome of the game. You're solely responsible for your rotations, fighting positioning, and even your mental game. This helps you learn to be independent and think critically about every situation. By focusing on solos, you're forced to improve every aspect of your game, from mechanics to decision making and rotations to game sense. Solos allow you to practice and improve quickly because you're forced to rely solely on your own skills. You'll become a better player overall, and your solo experience will translate into improved performance in squads and scrims, making you a stronger all-round Fortnite player. Everything in this video so far is pointless to know without these 4 essential requirements. Starting off with setting achievable goals. Setting achievable goals will help you stay consistent and keep focus on the most important things. By achievable goals, I mean smaller goals. For example, if you're new to competitive, your goal could be qualifying for the first time. Setting achievable goals also helps you view mistakes as opportunities to learn and improve. When you achieve a goal, it boosts your confidence and shows you progress is possible with enough effort and focus. This reinforces a growth mindset where you believe your skills can improve with consistent practice. Patience. To go pro in Fortnite, you're going to need to be extremely patient. Going pro takes you months or even years, but it's how much you want it, because if you keep going, you will eventually go pro. Volume. Having high amounts of volume will obviously make you improve so much faster. So putting all the spare time you have into practicing without sacrificing school or education is what you need to do to go pro. No procrastination, just do it. While you're sitting there scrolling, there is someone else taking your spot as a pro. And finally, I'm going over something you've probably never heard of called the dip. It might seem like you're not getting better despite putting in the effort, and this phase can be frustrating. Why does the dip happen? At the beginning of your improvement, you'll notice fast progress because you're picking up basic skills and strategies quickly. However, as you advance, you'll reach more complex concepts and improvement starts to slow down. This is when the dip happens. Skill plateau. You might have already mastered certain aspects of the game, like building or aiming, and now you're focused on the more advanced techniques like game sense or positioning. The more advanced the skill, the slower the improvement. This can make it feel like you're stuck or hitting a wall. How can you overcome the dip? The best way to overcome the dip is to reflect and adjust. If you're stuck, take some time to reflect on your progress. Look at what you've already achieved, identify areas that still need work, and adjust your approach. The dip is a natural part of the improvement process, especially when you reach more advanced levels. It is a sign that you're challenging yourself, and although it may feel like you're not progressing, this phase often leads to bigger gains in the long run. Stay focused, be patient, and keep pushing forward, and you'll come out of the dip even stronger.